Gary Smith, our district governor.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Mike, and thank you, Savannah Rotary Club. This is one of our favorite towns to visit in, and we visit here quite often. For the last several months, since I did my schedule and I have really looked forward to this week. We've got, I think, 7 clubs to visit while we're here this week, but we're in the center of the universe for Rotary in our district. This is where it all began, and we're delighted to be here. There's such rich tradition and history in Savannah. It is one of the reasons we like coming here, but I also honor the rich tradition and history of the Savannah Rotary Club. You have provided 7 district governors to our district. This area has provided 11 district governors and other types of support to our district, and I'm thankful for that. You have 9 clubs in this immediate area. We only have 64 clubs in our district, so this is the center of the universe for Rotary, and y'all do a lot of good things, and I appreciate that, and we're tickled to death to be here. I want to give you a Rotary talk, and I want to ask you, what is Rotary, or what is Rotary to you? Is that something that you've been asked? Something that you have an answer for? Or what's that pen that you wear? What's that pen stand for? Do you have your own Rotary story to tell? We know that Rotary is a volunteer organization made up of 1.2 million business and professional leaders, united worldwide to promote humanitarian service, peace, and goodwill. Rotary is more than that. Rotary is international. Rotary is important. Rotary is integrity. Rotary is compassion. Rotary is doing good in the world. But more than that, Rotary is this club. Rotary is each one of you. And if you engage in Rotary, you will change lives. No surprise to you, but we have a centennial celebration in Georgia this year. Rotary in the state of Georgia will be 100 years old because of you. I've talked about you since July the 16th. The Atlanta Rotary Club had its 100-year celebration in June of this year. This club was chartered February the 1st, 1914. The Macon Club followed you in March 1st, 1914. Now, because of you, to commemorate that special event, we did have specially created a brand new Georgia pen. It's the Centennial Georgia Rotary pen, and I hope you've got yours. And we're going to celebrate and say happy birthday to you, and we're going to celebrate a birthday for all of our clubs. In 1914, if someone in Savannah had not understood the ideals of Rotary, like Paul Harris and his 3 friends, this club would not have been formed. The Macon Club would not have been formed. My club is 78 years old. It wouldn't have been founded. The other 64 clubs in our district would not have been here. Now, in your community, now you can't think back 100 years because you're not that old, but think back on the 100-year history of the Savannah Rotary Club and the differences it has made in this community. The difference it continues to make today with your projects and programs. This community would be a lot different without the Savannah Rotary Club. And I hope you'll wear your pen, because that may cause somebody to come up to you and say, what's that pen stand for? Not only will it give you an opportunity to talk about Rotary, it'll give you an opportunity to talk about Savannah Rotary and the activities that you perform. And you can tell them how to engage in Rotary and change lives. In 1917, sitting President Arch Klump proposed that an endowment fund be established for the purpose of doing good in the world. In 2017, we're going to welcome the world to Georgia as Atlanta will play host to the 2017 International Convention. If some of you want to go to the convention, you'll probably never have a better opportunity, as close as it will be. We'll also be celebrating the 100-year anniversary of the founding of the Rotary Foundation. And I know that is important to this club because in 1917, Arch Klump did found the Rotary Foundation. And that was done at the International Convention that was held in Atlanta. So it's appropriate that the 2017 convention is coming back to Atlanta, where we celebrate 100 years of Rotary in Georgia, but also the founding of the Rotary Foundation. The first contribution that was made to that endowment fund was $26.50. 1928, the fund had reached $5,000, and that endowment fund was changed to the Rotary Foundation, and it's become a distinct entity in Rotary ever since. 2 years later, 1930, the Rotary Foundation made its first grant available. It's $500 to the International Society for Crippled Children. I want to give you a little side story about that because that organization was founded by a Rotarian. He was named Edgar Allen. He's from Ohio. How he got involved with that organization was he had an 18-year-old son that was involved in an accident, and the wounds from that accident took his life. And it took his life because there was not adequate medical treatment in his local community. Allen quit his job. He went into full-time fundraising, and within 18 months, there was a brand new 36-bed hospital in his local community. He wanted to make sure that other people did not have to suffer those same consequences. Allen continued to volunteer as treasurer for that hospital. A few years later, a young boy, 8 years old, by the name of Jimmy Bodat, came into that hospital. Jimmy was crippled. He couldn't walk. He came in to see if something could be done about his legs. Allen and Jimmy became very close friends, and Allen began to understand the needs of medical care for crippled children. April 15, 1915, the Gates Hospital for Crippled Children was opened in Ohio. It was the very first facility of its kind in our nation. Some years later, at the urging of Allen and his Rotary Club, they combined with several Rotary clubs in the Ohio area, and they formed what was known as the Ohio Society for Crippled Children. Later became known as the National Society for Crippled Children, and then the International Society for Crippled Children. The reason I tell you that story is because we know that same organization today as the Easter Seal Society. Easter Seals was created by a Rotarian, and the founding funding of Easter Seals was from a Rotary grant. Now, I know you're familiar with Easter Seals and the work that it has done for crippled children in our nation. That was because of Rotary and engaging in Rotary and changing lives. Speaking about changing lives, or you may have heard of the First Class. If you have not, I want to tell you a little bit about it because I'm a member of the First Class. Our president this year, Ron Burton, challenged all the incoming district governors last year to make a contribution to the foundation before we attended our training in San Diego last January. We accepted that challenge, and all 538 of us made a contribution to the foundation. We became a part of the First Class. First time in the history of Rotary, all district governors had made a commitment to the foundation. Likewise, I asked our club presidents to make a contribution to the foundation before they attended their pets last March in Atlanta. I'm very proud to say 100% of them did so. So did my district leadership team. But so did the district leadership team and all the club presidents of District 6900 and 6910 in Georgia. They all became a part of that first class. Ron Burton came and spoke to our club presidents on Saturday night at Pets, and we were able to give him the first class, the first state where all club presidents had made a commitment to the foundation. I've asked our club presidents this year to make a minimum contribution of $100 to the foundation. I'm asking each one of you, and I'm challenging each one of you to make that same commitment. And I say minimum contribution because I know some of you do and some of you will contribute more than that. But if you will do so, if all our Rotarians and all of our clubs will do so, believe it or not, in our 100-year history, it'll be the first time in the history of this district where all members of our club have contributed at least $100 to the foundation. And I think that's something that we'll be able to accomplish this year. And why give to the foundation? It's because it's our charity. It was begun by us and it was begun for us. Sue and I do give regularly to the foundation, but our gifts in and of itself will not dig a well. It will not provide clean water and sanitation. It will certainly not eradicate polio from the face of the earth. It will not provide books, dictionaries, classrooms, or classroom desks. It will not build a park or a playground. It will not provide meals or stop hunger. It will not provide computers, health care, medical equipment, save a child's life. It will not help people at a homeless shelter. It will not provide sewing machines so that people halfway around the world can use those sewing machines as a micro business. But our gifts, along with your gifts, and the gifts of Rotarians throughout our district will do each and every one of those things. And I'm confident it will do each and every one of those things because each one of the things that I mentioned, each one of the things that you're looking at on the screen are current projects of our Rotarians of our district. Those are things that we do each and every day today that helps us to engage in Rotary and changing lives. It will also not make our district aware that meningitis is a preventable disease. Speaking about changing the world, smallpox is a disease that was and is no more. Rotary had nothing to do with that. But in 1985, Rotary took on the challenge of the world and decided to eradicate the world of polio. And we almost have. From 125 endemic countries and over 350,000 cases of polio in the world, today we have only 3 endemic countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. And as of this week, we only have 99 cases of wild polio virus in those 3 countries. In May of this year, we had a setback of polio in the country of Somalia. 1 case developed. Somalia was declared polio-free in 2005. Today, there are 174 cases of polio in Somalia. The CDC and the World Health officials are there re-immunizing children. And this week, for the first time since May, there has been no growth of polio in Somalia. There were 174 cases there last year. So the evidence of their immunizations is making a difference. But also the evidence of Somalia being a polio-free country and now being infected again is also evidence of why we cannot stop until we're finished. 99.9% is very, very good by anybody's standards. But 99.9% of polio eradication is not good enough. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative of Rotary and World Health, CDC, UNICEF, and the Gates Foundation have done great and wonderful things. Even lives have been given for polio eradication, as more than 20 polio workers have been killed in the last 6 months. Even 3 weeks ago today in Pakistan, someone in the Taliban threw a bomb and it killed 2 Pakistani policemen as they were guarding polio workers, and it injured 13 of them. These people are putting their lives on the line every day to solve polio in their country. All they're asking us to do is provide money for the immunizations. In 1985, there were 3 variations of the wild polio virus, something known as type 1, type 2, and type 3. The type 2 polio virus has already been eradicated through the efforts of Rotary. No case of type 2 has shown up since 1999 in India. The guess is type 3 has already been eradicated, as the last case was in 2012. We've almost been a year without a type 3 polio virus. So we're battling one type, type 1, but we're doing it in 4 worst places in the world. We've got to go to 2018. The CDC thinks that we can declare polio free by the end of 2015. But we've got to go to 2018. We've got to have a 3-year span where you have no outbreak in an endemic country. That'll take us to 2018. The estimated world cost of doing that is $5.5 billion. $4 billion of that has already been committed by the governments of the world. The Gates Foundation has for a 3rd time challenged Rotary to raise funds for that effort. That's no surprise, because Bill Gates is a Rotarian. He knows that Rotary will accept that challenge and will meet that challenge. They have asked, if you will raise $35 million a year, we will match you 2 to 1, and we will contribute $70 million. Now, 1.2 million Rotarians in the world and a $35 million challenge, that's only $29.17 apiece for the next 5 years. And by the way, I forgot to tell you how that one case of polio got to Somalia. A little girl stepped off of an airplane. She was infected. And from one case, it has spread to those 174 cases. Again, that's something that we cannot quit until we're finished. May the 2nd through the 4th of 2014, we're going to have our next district conference. It's going to be on Jekyll Island. We've got a brand new convention center. We've made our arrangements. We've got our hotels contracted. We've got shoulder rates before and after the conference. If you want to come and stay late, come early. We've got our agenda plan. We've got our meals plan. We've got our entertainment lined up for Friday and Saturday nights. We've got our speakers plan. In fact, the registration page is open on our district website. You can go ahead and register now if you want to. I hope you'll come to Jekyll Island and help us celebrate the end of the 100-year anniversary in Georgia. You'll be a major part of that. While we're there, we're going to end a district fundraiser that we're doing this year, and I'm asking y'all to help us out with that. I've asked each Rotarian in our district to either purchase or sell 2 tickets. They're worth $20 a piece. While we're on Jekyll, we're going to draw 50 winners. Each one of those winners will get a $500 gift card. So that's a total of $25,000 in prizes. The funds we raise will help support some of our district activities, and will help with a meningitis awareness campaign that we will do in our district next April. So please support that fundraiser and please come to conference and have a good time. We've got a great place. We just need for you to come and have a great time. Rotary in District 6920 is everything I've talked about. And I haven't mentioned our group study exchange team that will be coming to us this year. We're going to do something a little bit different with our outgoing team. It's called a vocational training team. It's something new under our new grants plan. And the difference is it's not just a cultural exchange. We can tie a vocational training team to one of our grants. We'll look for a skill set of people to send to match that grant. If we're doing a water project, we can send water engineers. If we're doing health and sanitation, we can send educators. Two good things about it is there's not an upper age limit on a vocational training team like there is a group study exchange team. The other benefit on a vocational training team, we can send all Rotarians, and that's what we're going to do next year. I haven't talked about our Georgia Rotary Student Program that allows students from foreign countries to come and study in our colleges and universities as we continue to promote peace through understanding. I haven't talked about our CART program. The little bit of money that we put in these CART buckets each week has allowed us to have awarded over $4 million in research grants for Alzheimer's. I haven't talked about our METS program that was located out of Savannah. Sadly enough, we had to close the doors in July, not because we were broke, but because we could no longer get equipment to send to foreign countries. While we were in business, we did ship over $17 million worth of usable medical equipment to 34 countries in the world. This was a District 6920 project. In the September newsletter, there was an article about the closing of METS. Hope you've read it. If you hadn't, I hope you'll go back and read it. At the end of that article was a YouTube video that I hope you'll look at, because it's a gift to District 6920 from the country in Africa that received our very last shipment. You need to look at that. I haven't talked about our RILA program, our speech contest, Interact, Rotaract, Rotary Leadership Institute. Haven't talked about literacy projects, and haven't talked about membership. And I haven't talked yet about my pet project for this year, which is meningitis awareness. And the reason that is a pet project of mine is because in 1997, I've got a friend and fellow Rotarian that lost his 17-year-old son to meningitis. My club did a good thing the following year, and we still give the Corey Hall Memorial Scholarship to a high school student. But in 1997, there was not an adequate vaccination for meningitis. In 2005, the Food and Drug Administration approved one that has had great success. In 1997, I had 3 children. I had a 19-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and I've still got those 3 children. I cannot imagine the pain and suffering that a parent would go through losing a child. Next year, with the proceeds from our raffle, the last week in April is the CDC's National Immunization Week. We're going to do an ad campaign in our district, all over. Savannah, Valdosta, Macon, Fitzgerald, Millen, Sylvania. We're going to let our communities know. We're going to let our parents know. We're going to let our children know. And we're going to let our schools know that meningitis is a preventable disease. Please get your children vaccinated. It'll be a way in our district that we will engage Rotary and save lives. So what is Rotary and what is a Rotarian? A Rotarian is a person that will dig a well from which he or she will never drink, will vaccinate children he or she will never know, will restore eyesight for those people that he or she will never see, will build a house that he or she will never live in, will plant a tree that he or she will never sit under, educate children he or she will never meet, feed hungry people regardless of race or politics, make crawlers into walkers halfway around the world, and knows that real happiness, as Albert Einstein once said, can only be found by helping others. I want to thank you for what you do as Rotary in your community. And I want to thank each of you for being Rotary. Thank you.